This podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Listener discretion is advised as some cases contain graphic content. We mean no disrespect to anyone we discuss in this podcast except our exes. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. However, we will be expressing our personal opinions. Buckle up, Buttercup.
Hey guys, it's Cynthia.
And I'm Wes, and this is Love and Luminol, a true crime podcast. Woo. Back for the second week in a row.
I know, shocking. Trying out a new camera, hopefully. Every time we try to change something, we end up missing a week because it messes up. So hopefully.
Yeah. I think it'll be all right. This is a lot better. We can see what we're recording. We have status light, so we know it's recording. It's, a lot better options. And the other one just had too big of a file format, even though it's the same. Actually, this is better quality and the file sizes are lower, so it's easier to transition to the computer for editing. So, just a better option overall.
Yay! But today we're going to cover the case of Victoria Martens.
Alrighty.
Never heard of her. I don't even know why I
Never
asked
do.
you.
You don't need to. You need to just stop asking. If it's somebody I've heard of, I'll be like, I know this one. But nope, nothing.
It's a victim. I'll specify that before we get going. I know. But all right, you ready for this?
Yep.
Let's get going.
All right, here we go.
So, we have caught up on our book talks. Another shocker. we just made it one video. We had 3 books to review, so we did it all in one take.
Yeah. Last video we said it's probably already up already, so I don't know why we're telling you that it's coming, but we were late.
And then,
And we ended up just knocking 3 of them out in one video, so.
Yeah.
But now it's up. So now if you go and look, you will see.
Yes. So the last 3 horror. Yeah, they're all 3 horror books that we read.
Yep.
And we're on to, was it The Church Beneath the Roots?
Yep. And that's what we're doing now, is the prequel to Stolen Tongues, which we've actually done a book talk on already.
Yeah.
So
if that is any interest to you, you can patiently wait for him to catch up reading and we can finish. He doesn't read, he listens to audio, so.
Yeah. And I only do it when I'm driving to and from work or on my lunch break, so gives a limited time that I can do that.
Yes. All right. Anything you want to go over before we get started with this one?
Nope, nothing new. Tuesday that this comes out is going to be election day, so please vote. Don't care who you're voting for, just vote. It's your business.
Mm-hmm.
But they probably should be the better one, just saying. We all know who that is.
Oh, yeah. You know who we're talking about.
You know who we're
not
talking
going
about.
to tell you who we're talking about. But, all right. Well, if nothing's happening, we'll get this ball rolling.
Yep, let's go.
Seem in a chipper mood. That will end pretty quickly, I'd say.
What was that?
I said, you seem like you're in a pretty mellow mood. I said, that'll end pretty quickly here in a minute.
Oh.
So we delve into this heartbreaking case of Victoria Martens.
Yay.
He's like, oh, boy. But I'm not even going to show you yet. Born August 23rd, 2006. See, mood gone. Yes.
Alrighty.
That is a picture from Facebook of Victoria Martens. This year, if she was here, she'd be, how old, 2006? You're like 18? She'd be 18 today. She was still with us.
First it's a kid, and then we get the if she were here. So, yeah, my mood shot.
I already told you.
You just said she's the victim. You didn't say she's dead.
Oh, well.
So,
trigger warning.
Yep, already got me there.
You're like, I'm already pissed. But we're going to jump to Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Okay.
On Arroyo, Arroyo, whatever, Villas apartment complex in Albuquerque's west side.
Okay.
This is Michelle Martin. She's 35. She's Victoria's mother.
Alrighty.
Victoria was 10 years old. It's another picture of her with, it looks like Minion something. Cookies?
Minions cookies they're getting ready to make.
Yep, they're making some Minion cookies. She attended the Petroglyph Elementary School.
That's an odd name for a elementary school.
Petroglyph? I don't know.
It's like gas and symbols. Petroglyph.
Yeah.
It's gas and symbols.
Unique name. But she had a half-brother, Matthew, who was born in 2008. That's her and Matthew getting dressed up for something. Looks like
Maybe Easter,
possibly.
church,
I was thinking it's green, so maybe Christmas or something.
St. Patrick's Day.
Either way, they're getting dressed up for something adorable. There's no record of her birth father.
Oh,
Not
okay.
sure if that means he wasn't on the birth certificate by choice or if his name just wasn't given to the news and stuff. I don't think he's very present.
Okay.
She loved gymnastics, swimming, and playing with her friends, and her favorite color was purple. It's a little bit of background on her. Michelle was originally from the Bronx, New York, moved to Texas before settling down in Albuquerque.
Oh.
Michelle's parents, Victoria's grandparents, were John and Pat Martens. Oh, that's another picture of her and her brother with her mom.
Okay.
And then that's John and Pat Martens.
Alrighty.
Michelle's parents swear that she never did any drugs or drank alcohol. Just 3 months prior to the murder, Michelle passed a new hire drug screen. So they said she wasn't into the party in life, anything like that.
I can tell where this is going.
Figured. She had no criminal record in New Mexico. In March 2016, Michelle called CYFD to report that her boyfriend at the time, David Hernandez, had tried to kiss Victoria. I think CYFD is something
It's probably the
family
fire department.
Maybe? I don't know.
FD is usually fire department.
Yeah, well, she called the CYFD to report her boyfriend tried to kiss her daughter. That's the boyfriend at the time, David Hernandez. Hernandez had a family history of sexually abusing children, including several children in his own family. So it wasn't...
Why would you date someone like that?
Wasn't really a stellar guy. I don't even know why you'd be around him.
Yeah.
But he was also arrested for attempting to kidnap a 4-year-old girl in 2013.
God. Come on.
Why? I know. It's like, sure, come on in with my children.
If it's, I mean, okay, so let's say you don't know, then okay, but if it's well known,
Yeah. Why?
why? Just stay away from those people. Like, don't even invite them into your life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
That's what
my
I was
God.
thinking. That's another mugshot picture of him or jail picture of him. However, he was never charged with any sexual assaults.
Oh, so maybe, whether he did or not, maybe the story is that she believed he was innocent.
Possibly.
That kind of explains a little bit more. I'm not saying it's okay, but
No.
it explains maybe why she allowed him around the child. Maybe she just believed he was innocent because he was never actually convicted of
True.
anything.
That, or he could have never told her and she never bothered to look him up.
I mean, I guess.
I don't know.
I
do.
usually try to find out information
Yeah,
about
before I
someone
let
who's going to
them
be
around.
around my kids, but whatever.
But you never know. Everybody does their own thing. But now I figure out what CYFD is. The New Mexico Children, Youth, and Families Department.
Oh, Children, Youth, and Families Department, CYFD.
Yeah.
So it's probably like DCFS or
Yeah.
something similar to it. Or DCS or CPS, depending
yeah.
on where you're from.
The CYFD was located in Santa Fe, and they received five phone calls regarding Michelle's household.
No. Okay.
Most calls were from Michelle herself. So
That's interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. But she met and started talking to another guy, Fabian Gonzalez, who was 31 years old. Fabian had a long criminal record, Some of his charges included resisting arrest, drugs, assaulting his former girlfriend. So he had a decent record too. I don't know. I don't get it with this woman. I don't know.
She can pick them.
Yeah. But Fabian began using drugs in Michelle's apartment and let his cousin Jessica move in once she was released from prison.
Okay.
So his cousin Jessica Kelly is 31 years old. That's a picture of her.
All right.
Big old hoop earrings.
Alrighty.
Yeah. But Jessica had a long criminal history as well. Her previous charges included conspiracy to commit rape and drug charges. Yeah.
Wow.
She's a winner too. He charged her $50 for rent, an agreement Michelle was not aware of. So Michelle did not know it was her apartment, her place. But Fabian, her boyfriend, was charging his cousin rent, but he wasn't telling Michelle he's getting any rent.
Well, alrighty then.
Yeah. And jump to August 24th, 2016. Late that night, screaming was reported coming from the apartment. Around 4:30 a.m. on the 24th, Michelle and Fabian, yeah, left the apartment and reported to neighbors that Jessica had attacked them with an iron.
Fuck.
Right?
Like an
A nine-
iron, like your clothes, or like a tire iron?
I think like your clothes, I think.
Oh, that's interesting too.
Yeah, it is. A 911 call came in regarding a domestic dispute from a neighbor regarding the assault. Michelle had a huge gash across the middle of her face. And Fabian
So
Fabian
Fabian is what I've always heard, but you know that could just be the white person.
That's what I was afraid. I was like, Fabian?
But I've
Fabian?
always heard Fabian.
I did
so
too. I'll go.
maybe that's just.
You will hear anything that's close to Fabian, you'll hear me probably say all of them again.
It's not Fabio, though.
Yeah. So be prepared. Just know it's the same dude. I just forget how I was pronouncing his name and I'll say something else. So Fabian had a black eye.
Okay.
So there's a picture of Michelle. She's got a gash between her eyes right there.
Yeah.
And that's Fabian.
That's got to be Fabian.
Yeah, with the big black left eye there. Or right eye. I always get mixed up.
That'd
with
be the
cameras.
left eye.
Left eye. Because I know mirrors is...
Well, I mean, unless
And then
the image is
cameras.
reversed,
Yeah,
but if
that's hard
he's
to know.
facing us, that's his left eye.
Yeah. So they got... Something happened. Police got there and they told Jessica to come on out of the apartment. That's Jessica's mugshot from that night. Looks like she's got a scratch on her nose or something.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit
She
of
didn't get too
scratches.
much of it.
No, she doesn't have a black eye or a gash, but she bolted the door. The police told her to come out. She bolted the door and jumped off the second-story balcony,
Damn.
fracturing her ankle.
Oh.
Yeah.
I bet when you read that, you were like, ah.
I broke my. I was like, ah. Ooh.
She's snapped her ankle in a car accident before, so.
Oh Lord, it's awful. It's like, oh. But police entered the second-story apartment and saw smoke coming from under the bathroom door.
Oh.
They entered and found a horrifying scene.
Uh-oh.
Now we're going to get into the horrible part of it. Victoria's body was in there. Dismembered and wrapped in a burning blanket.
What the fuck?
Exactly. That's why I said it's awful.
So I said earlier, I know where this is going. I was completely off.
Yeah.
I
You
thought it was
were?
going to the mother.
Oh. Well, we don't know. We'll get to it.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm... All right.
There's 3 people in here, and there was a brawl, and...
Yeah, but she's the one attacking people, so I'm assuming now maybe I'm wrong. All right, let's go.
Don't assume. But poor Victoria, her body was dismembered, wrapped in a burning blanket, and put in the bathtub.
That's fucking insane.
And there's police coming up to the
thank
stairs.
God.
Yeah, I saw me reaching for
You
the
were
computer.
like
You're
wrapped
like,
in it. Here we go, and
No.
I was like, no,
that's
I don't
police
want to see
taking
it.
pictures of... No, absolutely not. Pictures taken of the police walking up the stairs.
You scared the shit out of me.
I would not. No.
I wouldn't think so, but then all of a sudden you're clicking the button, and I'm like, oh.
I know. You're like, you better not.
Okay.
No. But all three were arrested at the scene because obviously.
Well, yeah.
There's
Because they don't know
something
who
there.
did what.
There's another mugshot of Michelle with that gash between her eyes. And there's another one of Fabian.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with his big old black eye. But he was initially questioned for 9 hours. Jessica refused to be interviewed without her lawyer present.
Okay.
So whatever's happened with her, she had enough sense to know she needed counsel.
She's been through this before.
Yeah, she's been around. In Michelle's initial interview, she said the following. This was Michelle's story, because she was interviewed too. She said Victoria was given meth and alcohol to calm her down so Fabian could have sex with her. Michelle watched as Jessica and Fabian raped, strangled, and stabbed Victoria before dismembering her.
What the fuck?
Yeah, Michelle had previously sought out men online to have sex with Victoria so she could watch for her pleasure. So this woman is disgusting.
So that makes perfect sense from the other guy. So she knew.
Yeah, she knew.
Wow.
Yeah.
People are fucking sick.
Yeah, disgusting. But she later recanted this story. Why would you even think of anything like this?
That doesn't even cross your mind unless it's something that is real. Like you're not going to just make that up and then later go, nope, I was joking.
Yeah, why would you even want to label yourself as that? Like, I wash it from my plate. No. No, but later she recanted it all. Evidence pointed in a different direction, so her confession appeared to be false. But again, I don't know why, of any confession, why she would come up with that.
That's just
unless
weird.
it had some kind of merit to it. But all three were indicted on multiple charges, including intentional abuse of a child, aggravated criminal sexual penetration, murder, and tampering with evidence. And they all pled not guilty. And
So she recanted the story, but they found evidence of that, though.
if they're charging them
It
with
says
something,
penetration.
they must have found it. But it
So-
might not have been, like she said, online finding people. So it must have been some part
but
of her
in
stories.
general, part of
Yeah.
that story is legit because they found evidence of
Yeah, they just couldn't
something happening to them.
point that was exactly the scenario which led to this charge. It could have been that it was just him, or it could have been, so they didn't know. They all pled not guilty. They were told not to have contact with each other while the trial progressed, so they couldn't talk to each other. On September 16th, 2016, the trial started in Bernalillo County District Court. So the trial started in September, and then November of that year, the autopsy is released. So they get to know a little more information. Victoria's drug screen was negative, so she wasn't given meth or anything.
So that's a complete lie.
Yeah, so that was completely, I don't know why she didn't say that.
What the fuck?
I know, people crazy. Michelle told investigators that Victoria was given meth the day she died, but it's false because her system's clean. Yeah, I know.
I'm lost.
Autopsy revealed that she'd been sexually assaulted, strangled to death, then stabbed. and
So
then
that part was
dismembered.
correct?
Yes. And this is when, this is just horrible. I know, it's sad and it broke my heart, but investigators determined that Victoria died between 7:45 and 8:30 p.m. on August 23rd, 2016, her 10th birthday.
Oh,
Yes, I know.
Fuck.
That's why I was like, it just disturbed me. So on her 10th birthday is the day all this happened to her. She died. So, yeah. Judge on the case was Charles Brown. But there's a picture of him. He looks as pleased as we do.
Yeah.
He looks pissed. But judge decided Michelle would be tried first on July 30th of 2018. So that's a whole 2 years later. Fabian
Yeah.
would be the second to be tried in the October of 2018, and Jessica would be the last one in January 2019. So there's the three of them lined up. And I guess it's their court appearances. And that's Michelle in court. They were held on a $1 million cash-only bond. So $1 million bond he stuck on them. Fabian and Jessica's trials were postponed until 2022. They pushed them off. But Deputy District Attorney Greer Staley was over Michelle's trial. In January 2017, Raul Torres became the second Judicial District Attorney and begins to review the case. So the Deputy District Attorney was Greer Staley first, and then Raul Torres took over. So there's a picture of Raul. Raul. R-A-U-L. Raul. I'm horrible with these names.
Raul.
He expresses concerns on how the investigation was handled, and he creates a whole new team of investigators to take over the case. Okay. So he said, throw it out, look it all over again. On January 21st of 2017, the CYFD releases an extensive internal audit of the case.
Okay.
The audit said that CYFD, as you remembered, was called 5 times about the family before Victoria's death.
Yeah. By the mother, oddly.
Yes, very odd. I don't know what's wrong with this woman, but she's crazy. On May 2017, the lawyers in the state requested separate trials for the 3 defendants. So they wanted them completely separate. One trial can't be, they can't say, well, she was guilty and this. So it's like 3 whole separate cases. They don't want anything coming across. On May 24th, Fabian was recorded on a jailhouse call with his mother, stating that he had nothing to do with the murder and the evidence will clear him. That's what he said.
Okay.
Sure. On July 15th, 2017, Jessica was recorded on a jailhouse call describing how the murder happened and said drugs may have played a part. So
okay.
This is a big mess. And I'm sorry I'm throwing all these dates out there, and this part is extremely upsetting. Trigger warning. Can be a little disturbing, so skip ahead if you don't want to hear it. You're still going to have to suffer with me. The rest of you, if you don't want to hear this, go ahead, because this is what was suggested that have occurred that night. Timeline. It goes through a lot, but so skip ahead if you don't want to hear this. Unfortunately, we do. So, this Fabian and Jessica removed Victoria's arms with a knife first. That's what they said. Fabian then removed some of her organs. Don't know why. They placed the remains in trash bags, and they cleaned up the blood and everything. They stuck the bag in the bathtub, and Michelle was in bed for all this, supposedly. I don't even know. But Fabian joins her in bed, and later on, Jessica attacks them out of the blue. So I guess Jessica and Fabian were in on this. They put her in the bathtub. Fabian just crawled into bed next to Michelle, and all of a sudden later, Jessica comes in there and starts wailing on him.
What the fuck?
But this is the timeline. I'm going to start the timeline according to Raul, based on Michelle's story. Again, we know how credible she can be. But then it's going to start at 11:40 a.m. So 11:40 a.m. on August 23rd, Fabian and Michelle go to someone's house for drugs. This person told them that Jessica shouldn't be in Michelle's apartment because she was, quote, acting weird. At this time, Victoria is at school. At 2:30, they go back to the apartment and then leave again. And at 2:36, Michelle texted her mom asking if she could pick Victoria up from the school bus. At 2:37, so a minute later, Michelle's mom calls her, but Michelle did not answer. And Fabian convinces Michelle to ask Jessica to pick Victoria up. Because who knows why. But Michelle texted her mom at 2:39 p.m. and said, never mind, she figured it out. So I guess Jessica was getting Victoria. At 3 p.m., Fabian and Michelle go to someone's house. 3:37, Michelle texts Jessica and asks her to pick Victoria up. It's a little short notice there.
Yeah.
4:08, Michelle texts Jessica again, but doesn't get a reply. She's like, okay. So at 4:25, Victoria gets off the bus and goes home. No one is at home at the time. So she gets off the bus, goes up to her apartment, no one's there.
Mm-hmm.
And then at 5:07, so a full 40 minutes later, Michelle and Fabian returned to the apartment. And then at 6:05, Victoria takes a ride to a local gas station with Fabian. And at 6:15 to 6:20, sometime between then, they return to the apartment. And at 6:30, this is like Cato. 6:30, Michelle and Fabian leave to go to Paradise Hills. Don't know what Paradise Hills is. Well, that's where they went. 7:02, they return to the apartment. And 7:05, Victoria is seen alive by neighbors playing around. At 7:06, Michelle and Fabian leave again because they're always out. And then at 7:38, Michelle and Fabian are near Rio Bravo Boulevard and Coors Boulevard. I don't know what relevance that has to anything. It must be something nearby. And at 7:59, Michelle and Fabian are seen near 5 Points and Bridge Boulevard. So I don't know. That must be the direction they were heading.
It just shows that they weren't home.
Yeah. And then a little less than an hour, at 8:47, they arrive back at the apartment. And at 8:48, eyewitnesses say Victoria's body is seen being carried outside the apartment by Jessica. She turns around, carries her back upstairs when she sees that Fabian and Michelle are home. Jessica tells Fabian that Victoria is dead. Michelle is not included in this conversation. They discuss covering up the murder. Fabian distracts Michelle by telling her to make dinner and then puts her in bed. So according to this eyewitness, they saw Jessica trying to leave, I guess, carrying Victoria. Turned around, went back up, and then from that point on, I guess according to this story, they kept it from Michelle. Michelle had no idea Victoria's gone.
Okay.
Dead anything. And they're the ones that did all this. But he said, Raul said that proves that Michelle and Fabian were not present during the murder and the rape because they were out to these streets or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I believe it. But cell phone records support the idea that Fabian and Michelle were not at the apartment at the time of the murder.
Okay.
Jessica. So 9 charges against Fabian, including second-degree murder and criminal sexual penetration, were dropped.
Jesus.
Yep. Michelle is believed to have falsely confessed to participating in the murder.
What the hell?
Yeah. Initial autopsy stated that Victoria was raped. However, a later review of the autopsy showed that she had not been raped. Yeah, so this case was a mess.
What the hell is going on?
I know, right? It was just a mess of a case. The autopsy did show that she had an STD.
Okay.
Yeah. Some believe that was from the previous boyfriend that Michelle reported to the CYFD. That he did something to her.
Gotcha.
But Jesus Christ. There was no evidence that Michelle ever trafficked Victoria for sex. She didn't meet anybody online, tell them to come over for this or that. There's no evidence of that. And Michelle's confession transcript was reviewed. It was decided that a psychological evaluation should have been performed on her prior to her interview.
Okay.
Like that, I don't even know. She also answered a lot of questions with and mm-hmm, which led investigators to conclude that she was just agreeing with statements.
What the hell?
Yeah, I don't know. So I don't get it. So did the investigator come out and say, did you give her meth and hire guys offline? And she's like,
She's like, uh-huh.
That's a very specific question to be.
Yeah.
I feel like she actually did say those things.
Yeah.
I don't know why. If it wasn't true, why
it doesn't make any sense.
But I don't know. But forensic psychiatrist Michael Wellner came to analyze what Michelle said during her police interview. And he concluded that Michelle is a, quote, people pleaser and is a very vulnerable person. Michelle's lawyer also highlighted that she has a lower than normal IQ.
Okay.
So she's not the brightest book in the, crown in the box. She has a lower IQ than she should.
Mm-hmm.
But on July 29th, 2018, Michelle took a plea deal for child abuse. That's what she got hit with. She was sentenced to a whopping 12 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Michelle could receive good time credit and cut her sentence in half. Yeah.
Of course.
Because why not? But the second judicial district judge, Cindy Leos, cited mitigating
circumstances.
Yeah, and sentencing Michelle to the low end of that range.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd say that's pretty low. That's the judge right there. Judge. She pointed out a photo collage in Michelle's apartment containing photos of her and her 2 children. She said, quote, "It shows how important these kids were to her. It was a clean apartment, very well cared for. That sort of paints this picture of what was going on in that home with Miss Martens and her children before Fabian entered the picture." I was like, dude, what? Like,
Sure.
because she had pictures on the wall? Oh, Lord. What the hell? Even if her kids were important to her, originally she admitted to hiring men online to...
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. But Judge Cindy Leos decided that photos of Victoria's remains are to be shared in court. There were 60 total photos. So not only did she say that Michelle seemed like she loved those kids a lot, and there was a clean apartment and all that, she also opted to have Victoria's remains photographed and shown, or just the photograph shown in court.
Wow.
Yeah, and Judge Cindy Leos is still a judge today, but she's the one that presided over the tail end of that case. Her current term ends on January 1st, 2027. So she's still actually the judge. Jessica also took a plea deal. She pled no contest to 6 charges, including reckless child abuse resulting in death. I mean,
These seem like really shitty.
we ain't living in New Mexico. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
really shitty versions of what happened.
Yeah.
Like, we're just going to call it this instead of what it really is.
Yeah. And she was sentenced to 44 years in prison.
Wow.
Not long enough at all.
No.
Fabian went to trial. Fabian was released from jail in November 2019 after 3 years and 2 months.
Oh, Jesus.
So this man, watch my mouth, is out running around, and he got out after just serving 3 years and 2 months.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, even all of their sentences combined still isn't enough for one person. I'm like, this is ridiculous. He was placed under house arrest while he awaited trial. So he hasn't been to trial yet. He was released before trial. So he was out and about. Ultimately, he was found guilty of child abuse with reckless disregard. He was found guilty on 9 counts totaling child abuse and tampering with evidence, and he was sentenced to 37.5 years in prison.
Not enough.
No. Not enough. And you know what? It's like, even if he did assist in this cover-up dismemberment thing, 37.5 years is not enough.
No.
Even for doing that. Even if he didn't have any part in the death, still doing that alone is worth more than 37 years.
Agreed.
Yeah. The worst part, none of them were found guilty of murder.
That's the part that bothers me.
Child abuse.
That's why I
resulting
said
in
let's
death.
call it something different.
Yeah.
No, than what it really
It
is,
was
which is
murder.
just murder.
It was just plain murder. Regardless, it was murder. But none of them were found guilty of murder.
Wow.
Yeah, that's because investigators believe that there was a 4th person involved.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Because they thought there was a 4th person involved, they couldn't charge any of them with murder.
What the hell?
Mm-hmm.
So there's yet another person involved in this?
And that's what the investigators were thinking. When Raul Torres took office, he had a press conference and turned this case upside down. He said, quote, that Victoria was killed between 7:45 and 8:30 p.m. while Fabian and Michelle were at another house in South Valley. DNA was found on Victoria's body that implicates a 4th man. So they found unknown male DNA on the body. Bernalillo County District Attorney Raul Torres also stated that, quote, I know that APD has an active case file open on this particular suspect. So he has a particular suspect in mind.
Wow.
Prosecutors say a man who was seeking gang retaliation against Fabian is the killer.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So they're thinking it is a gang retaliation thing because not only was this man had a criminal history, he was a guest in a gang. And she says, sure, move on in with your cousin who just got out of jail. I'm like, wow. But they based their theory on statements from Jessica and unidentified DNA found on Victoria's back. So just based on those things, they thought about this fourth guy. Jessica told police that a, quote, well-dressed Hispanic man entered the apartment and killed Victoria because Fabian had threatened people at a cookout several days earlier. That's what Jessica said. He threatened somebody at the family cookout.
Wow.
Yeah. Jessica mentioned in an interview that on the night, a man came up to the door asking for Favo, which is Fabian's street name, his gang name. Favo.
Oh, okay.
She told the man that he was not there. It was just her and Victoria. The man came in, killed Victoria as revenge for something drug and gang related. Why? I don't know why he would pick the child. I mean, that's Fabian's cousin answered the door. This child is not his child, it's his girlfriend's daughter. So I don't know why the child was targeted. But the man said to Jessica that Fabian, quote, messed up and knows what he did. So, yeah. Torres's office filed a fourth indictment charging a John Doe with murder. Now, how in the hell? That's why I don't know if it's because they don't want to release his name, but they charged a John Doe with murder.
Wow.
Yeah, I've never heard that before.
Unless they're like in a witness protection, or maybe they
Informant?
Maybe they're now an informant, or they're in witness protection because they're telling everything about the gang.
Anyway, that charged a John Doe with murder.
I don't know.
And it's highly likely that Jessica knows who this person is. So they're pushing her because they know she probably recognizes who it is.
Yeah.
She just was too afraid to say anything. But Fabian's defense attorney disagrees, stating, quote, the person who killed little Victoria made a plea bargain and testified falsely in this case, and she's probably laughing now at the fact that the state of New Mexico accepted her version of what happened. So it sounds like he's pinning either Jessica or Shell for it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Jessica. In August of 2017, Victoria's grandparents filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the city of Albuquerque and several named police officers, as they should.
They filed a wrongful death suit against the police department?
Yeah, city of Albuquerque and the police department.
How?
Well, we're going to get to that.
Okay.
They hired attorney Jason Bowles to help with their case. That's him, Jason Bowles. The lawsuit alleged that their failure to investigate a report that one of Michelle's boyfriends tried to kiss Victoria was negligence that led to her murder.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, see where they're coming through that angle. And that Albuquerque, quote, had in effect policies, practices, and customs that condoned and fostered the unlawful conduct of the individual defendants and were direct and approximate cause of Victoria's death. The city of Albuquerque and the police are responsible. Judge, is it Dennis or Denise? I don't know. We're going to say Dennis?
D-E-N.
I'm trying to read ahead to see if I say
N-I-S?
he or she. It's D-E-N-I-S-E.
Denise
Barella Shepard dismissed the case. Those judges are in a row. The judge stated that the city of Albuquerque did not have sufficient notice about the lawsuit. That was the reason it was dropped. They didn't give them enough notice to prepare.
Okay.
It's the city of Albuquerque.
Well, let's just postpone this for a couple months and give them time.
Yeah. No, dismiss
Why drop
the
it?
case. This is getting... But August 4th of 2017, investigation by the Civil Police Oversight Agency found that a spokesperson from the Albuquerque Police Department, quote, did lie to the newspaper about the police department's response to a CYFD referral concerning Victoria's prior to death. So I guess the police department lied about their response to that CYFD call.
Interesting.
So I guess they said they showed up when they didn't, something like that. Two police spokespersons told the Albuquerque Journal that officers did investigate and stated that interviews with Victoria Michelle had not been conducted, or had been conducted. However, that was proven to be false. So they never went and interviewed Victoria asking her about anything. A sergeant and a commander of the Crimes Against Children unit told police command staff, including Chief of Police Gordon Eden, and a department spokesman officer, said that the police department had received referrals from CYFD but had not investigated. They're saying, no, we didn't look into it.
How nice of them.
Yeah. Former Albuquerque, that's APD, Albuquerque Police Department, spokesperson Fred Duran stated, quote, unfortunately, someone attempting to do something such as kissing the child is not a crime. Right?
Wait, what?
Yeah. He said, unfortunately, somebody attempting to do something such as kissing the child is not a crime.
Pretty sure it is.
Pretty sure.
I mean, if I attempt to kill you, hold on. If I try to kill you but don't succeed, I can still be charged with attempted murder. So someone trying to
kiss a child, inappropriate. What's that? I know there's a charge that doesn't mean you actually did anything, but I don't know. It's like inappropriate actions with a minor or some random, I forget what it's called. But I know there's charges that don't fully go into rape or molestation, but like, saying you
did something.
Attempted,
but oh my God.
Yeah, nope, that's what they said. And the APD spokesperson, Fred Duran, had all the information but chose to fabricate the details in the statements given to the press. So even though he had all the notes and everything, he just kind of went by the seat of his pants. I know. This police department. The CPOA voted for Fred to be suspended for 2 weeks. Because that's about as fair as these sentences. I know. Wow. But Fred was removed from spokesperson duties, as he should have been. However, Chief Eden modified it to a 1-day suspension, stating that there is no evidence that the officer, quote, intentionally lied. He had notes in his hand. He didn't intentionally. Wow. I feel like there's crap going on. They just kind of beat around it. Like, I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah.
Take a wide turn this way.
Mm-hmm.
I know. The case will next be reviewed by an independent monitor overseeing the police department's reform. And then a birthday memorial was held for Victoria. On October 29th of 2016, a public funeral was held. And the governor, Susana Martinez, spoke to KOAT News, calling this one of the worst cases she's ever seen in her career. Well, she's governor, she needs to wipe this police to judge everything out and start over. But Governor Susana was a former prosecutor in Dona Ana County before being elected governor. And she's also called for a federal investigation. So she wanted a federal investigation team to come in and look at it.
Yeah.
But the then mayor at the time, Richard J. Barry, tweeted, quote, "We are heartbroken as we mourn the murder," he said murder, "of beautiful 10-year-old Victoria Martens. Give your kids an extra hug tonight." Quote, justice for Victoria. And that's a picture of the birthday memorial for her. But that is it so far for this case. They called for a federal investigation to look over it. And that's as far as
But nothing yet.
Nothing yet that I saw.
Wow.
I know. So this was a big fuckery mess. Like.
Wow.
I know. I knew that one was gonna be.
This is ridiculous.
Right?
It's like you have one of the worst things possible that could ever happen to a child, and then everybody's
And
like,
they're not taking it serious. It didn't seem
everybody's like just passing it.
off to, yeah.
Nobody's deciding to do anything.
Like I mentioned, like 2 or 3 different judges. Yeah,
Yeah,
there was a woman
that's
judge,
another
and there was
weird
a
thing
Charles
too.
Brown, then there was this something Leos. There's like a bunch of judges, and all of them were like, I don't know if that's because each person had to have a different judge since they wanted it separated, but
I don't know, maybe, but
regardless, they all didn't give long enough sentences to amount for shit.
no, they didn't do shit.
Yeah, this 4th guy, nothing's came about this 4th dude. I don't really care what
John
he does.
Doe.
Yeah, he needs to be pulled out, shined in the spotlight if he is involved, so that everyone would know who the POS is that
Yeah,
did this. Like, blast his name if he did it.
if.
His DNA's
Keyword
on
if.
there, yeah. If he did it.
We don't know what the hell happened.
And I don't know, I don't even know if they can have a trial if they're not even willing to put his name out, John Doe. It's not like they can set.
I mean, yeah,
trial
they have
for
done that
people to
before, but usually it's because they don't want the person's name released because they're an informant of some sort. So what they'll do is they'll just mark it as a John Doe in the
I
case.
mean, he can't even sit in
but
there
then-
and defend himself or
Well,
anything?
yeah, it'll be a private, like,
Oh,
it'll
just
be
no,
locked.
like, outside stuff?
No, and if there's I don't know, if there's a jury, they're instructed that they're not, they don't know the person's name. They just hear the details of the case and can, say guilty or not guilty, but they don't ever know the person's name in the case.
That's weird, because he has a right to defend
Oh, he's there.
himself.
They just don't know his name or who he is.
I figured they'd be like, I recognize him from something.
But, yeah, no, that's...
Like, I know in the Delphi case, they're like, no cameras. So the news people are always, like, out after it talking about what they saw and stuff because they can't have...
Yeah.
But they have name and stuff. Other people are allowed to come in there and watch, but they always refer to him as John Doe and then nothing else came
This
from
would be
it.
closed, no press, no pictures, no nothing. And
A
the
jury, a judge, and that's it?
Yeah, judge, jury, defense, prosecutor, just them in a room, and the jury would never know the person's name that they're hearing the case of.
See, I've never seen that done.
Yeah. The only time they do that is witness protection, as far as I know.
Yeah.
This is
Oh, no, it's a
insane.
mess. It is. It's a mess. Heartbreaking. Thoughts out to her grandparents.
Yes.
Her brother, her little baby brother.
Yeah.
Other family. I'm not sure. I know her dad wasn't really in the picture, and her mom's in jail for being a part of it. So, thoughts out to the family that are out and love her and miss her. But that's all I got for that case. I know you're gonna. God bless it. Woman starting the week off like this, a holy day.
I'm not worried about a holy day, but yeah.
And I have. When I came across the case, her picture looked familiar, but I didn't know from where.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I dug into this, and I'm like, what kind of fuckery is this?
Yeah.
Like, what?
And then you're
That's
like,
why.
definitely not familiar.
No. Maybe I heard, like, a little bit like, oh, child death, mother and boyfriend arrested, or something like that.
Maybe, yeah.
But not this detailed where I'm
Yeah.
like, this timeline's crazy. Mom confessed to all kinds of weird crap that wasn't even close to... I don't even know why she did that.
No.
I'm sure you ask her, she probably wouldn't know why she did that. Or she wouldn't have a good excuse anyway. Like a decent answer that makes sense, No, it ain't good excuse, but she'd have some wild out there
Yeah.
explanation.
I don't know why you do this. Why you bring these cases.
Why you do this to me?
I know. I don't want to hear this shit.
Because now...
I'm glad we're bringing awareness to it, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I don't want to hear
I
it.
know. Sorry. I just wanted, because mainly because the judgment, or not the judgment, the judicial system, the court and all that. I figured that
fucked.
you'd be like, yeah, what the hell is going on? Like, I know you like that side of it, being like, what kind of weird things are going on? Someone's in the pocket of somebody or something. Cause
Well, the one that threw out the case
dropped the wrongful
because they didn't get enough time. That person's definitely in somebody's pocket because that was just ridiculous.
Yeah, how did they not get a notice?
All they had to do was put a stay in the case for like a month or two out to give them time. Mm-hmm. That's plenty of notice, but instead, let's just toss it completely. Like, no.
How did they? I don't know how they didn't get notice once it's filed. I mean, that is the court in the city of Albuquerque.
Oh yeah, unless they couldn't serve it, which, I mean, we've heard that before.
Yeah.
But like, okay, they didn't get to serve it, but they're aware now. So let's put a stay for 2 months out. That should give them plenty of time to figure out what they need to do.
Well, who would they serve if they're taking the city of Albuquerque to court?
I don't know, but that could be because of bureaucracy in city government. Maybe like it went to this, they tried to give it, and that's not me. I don't have anything to do with that. Okay, well, who do I don't know, and it just was an endless thing. So maybe that's it, but I would think there would be a way. I mean, especially the judge themselves work in usually the courthouse where the city employees do
all their shit in there.
It's like everybody involved would be probably in this one building.
At least at some point.
Yeah, like I'm sure they could figure it out.
Yeah.
They all know each other.
Bound to. But
they're all at the fucking company Christmas party. They all know each other, kind of a thing. So, like, somebody could figure it out. And then just put a stay for like 2 months down the road and then come back and be like, okay, now that everybody's got what they need, let's get this started. But instead, toss it out. That shows that somebody's really trying to help their friends out.
Yeah, because just to dismiss it, and it's a wrongful death lawsuit against for a child, just to dismiss it because someone didn't get enough notice. It makes no sense to me.
Stupid.
Yeah. Makes no sense to me. But we ain't moving to New Mexico, that's for damn sure, because
no.
The justice system's awful.
No. We'll go visit to see Roswell, but that's about it.
That's about it. Yeah. Because it just blew my mind. Horrible case all the way around, but you got anything you need to...
No.
You're like, I'm just going to cry it myself to sleep now.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I feel you. I try and think. I think that's all I got. I don't know. I don't know where my train of thought was going. I'm just lost for words.
Well.
I don't know anything about her dad. Her mom went to jail for how long was it? 44 years? Or no? 12 years?
Yeah.
12 years. 6 if she behaves her good. I don't know if... I guess the psychiatrist said she had a lower than normal IQ, but that's all that came from. There's nothing more on that. Fabian got out in 37 years. Was it? Jessica got 44.
They're all going to get cut to something way shorter than that.
Yeah.
But
as long as who's out running around, I don't know. I didn't get any updates as who was released yet, if anyone got released yet. The federal investigation, this governor called in. I don't know how far she made it with that because I don't hear anything else about that. So I don't
Hopefully
know if it was
that
just...
comes up.
Yeah, I'm hoping that
about.
she was sincere and she really did push for it, or she just tried to say, I want to federal, and then send a letter and then didn't do anything else to kind of push it.
Well, I'm hoping something comes about with that.
Mm-hmm. Someone needs to come out and say, give me all your stuff. I'm going to read it. Then I'm going to put it over here and I'm going to do my own investigation to figure this out.
Yep.
Needs to be done. So.
All right.
Yeah. They're like, man, I wish they skipped this week.
Yeah. Me too.
You're like, me too, guys. Me too.
All right. Well, feel free to like and subscribe so you get reminders of when new episodes are coming out. Also, check us out at loveandluminol.com. There you're going to find links to our audio and video podcasts options. And on that website has our links to our social media. It's at Love and Luminol everywhere except for X. We are not on X. And there's also a contact form on the site, so you can hit us up with messages. You can also get us at those social media accounts as well for those same contact options. But that's all we got.
Yeah. All right, guys. I guess if you're still around after then, we'll see you next time.
All right. Bye.
You can call me last day.